Yeah, money, jobs. We've had a dismal report this morning that nobody wanted to hear about the job problem in this country. Is there anything you would do differently at this point? And not even going back to the stimulus bill. The stimulus bill has been passed. It's a done deal. But right now, today, what would you do?
Well, I can't help but say they told us the stimulus bill would keep us from hitting 10% unemployment. We spent almost $1 trillion and still hit the 10%. It was a failure. It did not create any net new jobs other than in government. And the right answer today is to encourage the private sector, and you do that by reducing the burdens on businesses and on job creators and employers of all kinds. That means you, for instance, lower the payroll tax, or you put in place a more robust investment tax credit so that you encourage businesses to grow and add capital equipment. These are the kinds of things to do if you want to create jobs. But the president has not done that. He has scared the employment community. I mean, they're scared witless. They see their taxes going up. They see a health care mandate coming down the road with new burdens being placed on them. They see talk about compensation limits for executives. They see GM and GMAC and AIG under government control. They're worried. They're concerned. The president has not taken the kind of action you need to really stimulate the private sector. He's frightened it.
If you did what you say, let me strike that again. Is what the president is doing, is that going to hurt the economy, or it's just going to be a slower recovery than you would like to have, or any of us like to have?
Well, slow is hurt. When you have an extra 2% of people unemployed.
But I mean, is it totally the wrong direction? Is it totally the wrong direction, or is it just not, it's just not an as effective or efficient means to achieve a goal?
Well, when you throw money out of an airplane window, are you going to stimulate the economy below the airplane? Yeah. But the problem is you have to pay it back in this case with interest. And so what he has done is not going to net help the economy. It will have hurt American people who will have lost their jobs needlessly and will delay their rehiring. And that is hurting American people. And that's the problem with this stimulus. It's going to be a burden on the economy for many, many years to come. And the right course is, instead of passing a new stimulus, which would just add an additional burden on our financial markets and on the employment community, the right action right now is to reduce the burden on the employment community and to encourage them to invest in new capital equipment, new hires, new people. That's the right way to go.
Well, this big political news just out, and our guest, Governor Romney, wants to hear it. So here it is. According to a National Journal poll of Republican insiders, Governor Romney takes the title of most likely to become the GOP nominee in 2012. That's not all. Democratic insiders put Governor Romney on top as well. They say Governor Romney would be the strongest nominee for the GOP in 2012. Well, Governor, you must like those numbers and that information.
Well, it's better than a kick in the teeth, but haven't made any decisions yet about what we might do in 2012. Really, this is really a critical year right now, getting ready for the 2010 elections to see if we can't bring some balance and reasonableness to Washington again. So that's what I'm focused on, but the future will take care of itself.
All right. Well, what's the criteria you look at? Because I mean, you've got to think out in the future. I mean, what is it that would tip your decision either way? What are the things that you're considering?
You know, my wife and I and kids will sit down when the time comes and talk about a whole host of considerations, where the country is, what the implications would be for ourselves for a race, and what the personal implications might be, and whether I'd be the right person or whether somebody else might do a better job. These are the kinds of things we'd have to discuss, but we haven't given that a lot of thought this time. We did last time, obviously, go through that process, so I'm kind of forecasting based on what happened then, but we really won't begin a discussion like that until after the November elections, and maybe not until sometime in the next year.
We have a new book, No Apology, The Case for American Greatness. That's usually sort of the tip-off that you're sort of heading that direction. So why the book?
Well, actually, it's been in the works for a long time. I've done a lot of travel when I was in the business world, and I've been very, very concerned about the direction our country is headed compared to other nations in the world. And I'm afraid that Washington politicians have put America on a road to decline. And this is, in effect, a wake-up call. I don't expect it to sell hundreds of thousands, millions of copies, but I expect opinion leaders to pick it up and take a read, and hopefully we can get America on a course of greatness again. And I think that's in the cards. I think that'll happen, but we're going to have to throw out some of the ideas that are currently in ascendancy in Washington today.
Who do you admire in the Republican Party right now, and why?
Oh, there are a lot of terrific people that I admire, and John McCain, for instance, somebody who is a national hero. ran a terrific campaign and continues undaunted in Washington right now. Mitch McConnell, who is the leader in the Senate, is somebody who I respect. He's been able to do a great job in standing tall and fighting some of the worst things that have come from the Democratic side of the aisle, and put forward a whole series of Republican plans on everything from the stimulus bill to a health care plan. In the House, John Boehner has kept his team together, remarkably working hard in a common cause. And you have to look at someone like Sarah Palin, who really galvanized a lot of energy and passion in our party. She continues to do that. I respect people across the party. I think we're doing a good job of getting our message across.
All right, so what's going on in your home state? You've got a pretty aggressive Senate race there for Senator Ted Kennedy's seat. January 19th is the voting day. What's going on? It's a tough race for both of them.
Yeah, I think this is surprising a lot of people. Most people expected that a Democrat would just roll into Ted Kennedy's seat, as Ted Kennedy has year after year after year. But Massachusetts is not as monolithic a liberal state as people think. Massachusetts voted for Ronald Reagan twice. It elected the Republican governors 16 straight years. And right now there's a lot of anger in Massachusetts, among independents in particular, about the Obama health care plan. And I think what you're seeing is people are flocking to Scott Brown. He's narrowed the race. It's a single-digit race now, and he's raising money from across the country. I think he's a guy who very well could win this thing, and he's an independent-minded Republican. He's not just a rubber stamp kind of guy, but he brings an energy and a passion and some experience to this race that I think is galvanizing support in Massachusetts.
And it's so interesting because should he win on January 19th, suddenly the Senate isn't filibuster-proof. So it's so much more profoundly important to the nation. It's not just important to Massachusetts. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you've got to be watching this race.
Yeah, we'd really say that Massachusetts would be in the catbird seat. The senator from Massachusetts would be able to make the key calls on some of these key pieces of legislation. And with regards to health care, to make sure that the lessons about the good in the Massachusetts plan and the bad is accommodated and understood before it's dealt with in a national plan. It would make all the sense in the world for the people of Massachusetts to elect Scott Brown, and frankly for people across the country to send him a check for $25 or whatever to say, look, we care about that 41st vote.
Governor, thank you very much. Say hello to your family for us. Thank you, Governor.
Thanks, Greta. Good